The rest of you are just hiding from the cameras. You realize that. This place is loaded with birds and you can't see them. Here, I'll do a quick pan around. So here we have a couple of birds. Well, they just want to see that where they're all hiding. It's like, hello, guys. You're hiding from the camera. It looks like there's just a peach. It's Cause. Hey there, little one. Coco, what are you doing? Besides yelling. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah? Peach, come here. Don't sit all the way over there. Come here. What are you doing hiding? No hiding of the peach. Hi, Lorelai. Hey, Peach. Peaches, what you doing, babe? That's a good girl. Yeah. What, Lorelai would steal my AirPods? Would Lorelai do something like that? She would. Silly girl. What are you doing over there, Sal? Mander, salamander. Pippa. Pippa. Pip, 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 Pippa. Pretty girl. Pippa. Well, come here. Well, hello, salamander. You can come over here, too. Sugar, you party pooper. I had you down here and you wanted to climb up. That's typical. Hey, Peach. Hi, Peaches. Hi, Peaches. What you doing, Lorelai? I guess I should look at this stuff. See what's going on here. I'm sorry to cover you up there. I'm trying to figure this new screen out since we're using a new conference. Aha. There should be a screen here that, of course, I've never used it, so that does not show me anything about conferencing. Once you're done, click manage. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay, now I can see the conference. Just wanted to see what was going on in my phone. Lorelai, could you get a little closer to my AirPods? Just a little closer? Hi, Lorelai. Hi, baby. How are you doing? Hmm? Hello? Hello? I saw a mount for your phone, and it's small, but it will actually do like a panorama, so you can set it so it can swing back and forth and see all of this. If we get enough support and enough people joining up to be patrons, we can afford that thing. I think it's only it's a little less than $200, but for these videos, being able to pan back and forth, and also remote access, so I can control it from sitting here to something's going on, I can move it in that direction. What are you doing? Peach, if you get any closer to my face, now I don't think she wants your butt on her head. I don't. Or well, how about over on this side where you're not dealing with her putting your tail on your head? That's Lorelai. You don't have a problem with Lorelai. You guys have no issues. Well, your cause. Yes, it's a cause. Yeah, it's a cause. Whoa, there goes cause. Lucy, it's only cause. She's not gonna hurt you. Hi, cause. Oh, baby, what you doing? You're gonna say hi to Simone? Say hi, Simone. Yeah, I'm the cause. Cause and... Oh, Linda, let's see, who's out? Well, we got Lorelai and Peaches and Causey and Lucy and Coco, Sugar, Pippa, and Salamander. And if we can get that device that I can hook to our phone so we can move it around, then we can see everybody. But we don't have one right now, so we're stuck with a static picture. Aren't we? Aren't we, Lorelai? And because I'm sure someone will ask, why do I have a bandage on my finger? I have a bandage on my finger because I cut myself on a box when I was ripping it up. How's that for fun? No bites. You don't have any bites. No. No bites. Pippa! 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 Get excited. Come on over. Come on, Pippa. Come on, Pip. Salamander, you can come down here. Come on, Sal. Well, don't look at me like that. Come on down. Who's going to get you? Who are you afraid of? Nobody down here is going to get you. Sugar's up there just preening herself. She's having such a good time just preening and relaxing. One camera out, she gets a look. She's her normal activity. Put out a whole bunch of cameras and microphones, and then she just sits there. Coco, what are you doing? Coco, bird! Come. You don't want to come over? Sort of. Not quite, huh? You thinking about it? I've got two birds on my lap. That kind of slows you down, doesn't it? Yeah. And one sitting over my shoulder, and another falling asleep. No sleeping, Lucy. Lorelai, are you trying to eat my clothing? Is that what this is all about? I don't think I can raise the audio volume. can try. Let's see. I'm sorry. The only thing I have to control volume is the buttons on the phone, so I will press that and see if it makes a difference. Any better? Is that any better? Yeah, I know you have to wait for the lag. Oh, okay. Well, I pressed the button. That's about all I can do. I have a lot of control. If I had a decent webcam. Lorelai, come on, baby. Come on, Lorelai. Come on. Come on. That's a girl. That's a girl. You can sit right here. Just sit on my chest. It'll be fine. Whoa. What are you going to do now? You getting overexcited? Yeah, I'm sorry. Don't you mess with Lorelai. Now, Lorelai, I know what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah, Brett said there's no change, but that's not too bad, I guess. What peach? What peach? What you doing? I can do that. Well, I guess it's time for that official welcome to Cockatude Live. Yeah, with a bunch of live birds, most of which are hiding off the camera. We decided, we had a milestone that we set, that we were going to do one live video a month if we got to $250 an episode on Patreon. So what's Patreon? Well, most people who are watching this will be patrons because they're the ones who've been notified ahead of time, and this is their special video. They get to call in on a special conference number if they have any questions, and that can be a patron who just gives $1 per episode. We do 2 a month. We may do little ones, but they don't count. We do 2 major videos a month, and if you give at least $1 an episode, then you can call in and ask questions during these live videos. Right, Peaches? So Patreon is it kind of goes back to the old days, when they built the Sistine Chapel, and Michelangelo was paid to do that by his patrons, which at that time was the church, but he was paid to do that by patrons, and that's what's happening now. Much like minstrels, patrons would give money to minstrels. They also took care of musicians like Beethoven, Bach, and those kind of people. They couldn't exist without patrons. And so what Patreon did is they came up with a web presence and an engine, basically, so that they could support the arts and people who are creative. And that's what it's all about. So we use the major portion of what we get from Patreon to try to improve our ability to talk to people and help people with their birds. And then we use some of that money also to improve our service as far as making our videos better and that kind of thing. So if you're not a patron, please go to Patreon, that's patreon.com/Chloe Sanctuary, and sign up. And then you may find there are other groups out there too that you want to support, because it's got a wide number of people who are doing podcasts and videocasts and Pippacasts. Do we do Pippacasts too? Pippa! Hi, Pippa. Hi, Pippa. She's got a little ingrown feather on her eye, and it seems to be getting better, but if it doesn't fade in the next couple of days, she's going to the vet, aren't you, baby? There's a death grip for you. You gotta try peeling those little feet off your fingers. It's not easy to do. Once she gets latched, she does not want to let go. And they have locking feet. So it's not like she has to use any muscles to hold them that way. She just pulls them tight and locks them down. So try it. I think I want to get out of that one. I got out of one. Yay! You can sit up here if you want. What do you want to do? This finger's going to go numb though. If you don't let go soon, the blood circulation will be gone. And then I will have a finger that falls off. Ah! Ouch. There we go. It's okay, sweetie. It's all right. Pippa! So Patreon is keeping a lot of creative people going. And just, you know, basically you're supporting people, you know, how you get your 600 television channels of junk you don't want to watch. Well, in what Patreon does makes it so that you can support people you do want to watch, okay? So you toss them a few dollars and they can keep doing what they do. And then you get to choose what you watch instead of having somebody in a network office go, well, we're going to do this show and, you know, and we're going to cancel it now because we don't have enough people watching according to the Nielsen ratings. You know, in this way, you're able to support things you want to support. Right? Pippa? Patreon.com. Hi. Oh, hi, Jody. How you doing? Well, we're only doing it for patrons. Right now, we only have 29 patrons, so. Okay. Is it, yeah, as far as taking naps during the day, according to I'm trying to remember the name of the book. There's a book that, well, what happened was there was a group of researchers who went to Puerto Rico, and what they were trying to do is save the Puerto Rican parrot. So this is a scientific book most people would not want to read because it's saying like bird 312, you know, paired up with bird 307, and they went to location such and such. But nonetheless, yes, they did watch during the day. They did this for 5 years, but during the day, yeah, it's really common for them to take naps. In fact, they tried to follow the bird to their napping place, and they couldn't find them. It was funny. They also set up blinds so they could watch the birds. That didn't work. The birds basically took turns being sentinels to watch the blind, and if they came out of the blind, then the birds would decide what they're going to do and take off, right? So, but yeah, they do sleep. They take their little naps during the day. They usually, the first 3 hours of the day in the wild, they'll be foraging for food. And then they nap and play until about 3 hours before the sun goes down. And then they go foraging for food before they go to sleep. So, yeah, it's interesting how they sleep too, because they only sleep with one hemisphere of their brain down at a time. So they have hemispheric sleep. So they're never really fully asleep. They never let both sides of their brain, hi Coco, go down at the same time. What was the other question? I've forgotten now, of course. You know, that varies bird by bird. Some birds will hold it all night long. Other birds won't. And it's normal either way. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. The question was, when birds sleep at night, do they hold their poop until the morning? Is it common for them to do that? And the answer is, it varies bird by bird. Some birds will hold it all night, and you'll find just like a couple of big globs at the bottom of the cage in the morning. Other ones will do a little bit all night long. So either way is fine. Depends on the bird. Oh. He won't let me wear my AirPods, and that's how I'm hearing this phone call. And how do I know that? when I approached his cage, and I've been trying to get him used to the AirPods, but when I approached his cage, the feathers on the back of his neck went straight up. So, yeah, the reason Babaloo isn't in the room right now is because he reacted to my AirPods. Get away from the door over there. Salamander. No. Sal, get away from there. Go on, get. So Bob's not in here because I can't talk on the phone with the AirPods. So. Oh, okay. So how are you doing? Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. That's great. I've got one of the patrons on the line here on our conference call, and her bird Puff has been on the Dr. Jenkins protocol with the haloperidol and is now almost fully feathered. And there's always a few issues when you first start them on the medication. Sometimes they start losing weight, sometimes there's some behavioral things, but once you get it down, those things go away, and that's just where Puff is right now. So that's wonderful to hear, Jody. Yeah. You're welcome. Well, I'm talking to Jody about when you first decide to put your bird on psychotherapeutic drugs. You know, most people, I was hesitant too, but most people are afraid that putting them on drugs is going to make them into zombies, and that's not the way it works. Once they're on a program, they've been on it a while, you've figured out what level to have them at, their behavior is normal, better than normal. They're not anxiety-ridden anymore, so they're not tearing themselves up. Or like Salamander trying to tear up the curtains on the... Yes, you're trying to tear up the curtains. I know what you're doing. No. He's going to make me throw toys at him. That's what he... I just throw a toy and he plays with it.
It's 1:30.
If I don't throw him toys, he's going to eat those drapes. He's already got a lot of chunks out of him. Don't you, boy? Hi, baby girl. And just to remind everybody, we do have a video. It's video number 14 that describes the process of putting your bird on haloperidol so that you can stop the feather plucking. Feather plucking is not just the look of a bird, like this little girl here. She stopped plucking, but it looks like the coverts on her chest are never going to come back in. But she's gotten her flight feathers back, as you can tell, because she flies across the room. She wants to get out the door. She doesn't like all the cameras in here. If it's one camera, she'll sit, but if there's a whole bunch of cameras and microphones, she tries to get out of the room. So, but her flight feathers are fully back, and she's flying quite well. She looks a little ragged, but I think it's always going to be that way. I just don't think those feathers are going to come back. But she's not pulling them out anymore. So our video 14, Cockatude 14. Hey, get away from there! Now you're in a worse spot. Mander. I'm going to run out of things to throw over there for him to play with. You want to get off my hand so I can throw something at him? Here. He runs and gets the toy and he presents it up to me. We also have another video that's for your vet. It's only a half-hour long and it's all Dr. Jenkins. There's no other explanations. That's just for your vet to watch. It's all in one playlist on feather picking. So. Right, Sal? Yeah, you're shaking your head. Don't be banging at the that because everybody's going to see the world shake if you do. It's right over by the camera. Aren't you? You little monster. You little monster. He's an awfully cute monster, though. Hi, Coco. What's up? What's up, baby? All right, I'll put my feet up here so you have a plate, more room to go. Cause? That's cause. That's a little cause. Linda asked how Bob's prolapse is doing. So. It's not ready to be restitched, but it's not holding all that well, so he'll probably have to go back in for another surgery within the next month or two. Sadly, I'm hoping we can keep doing the small stitching, because once we have to go to the major operation, you can only do that once. And it usually holds for 2 to 3 years, and then after that, you basically have to put them down. So. No, you quit trying to eat that. You run like I'm going to hit you with something. This is just a toy for you to go get. I know, it's your game. I know. His little game, which is basically I'm going to chew the curtains unless you throw something for me to play with, reminds me of a lady who had a military macaw, and this bird had taught her, she didn't realize it, had taught her to shake its beak and scream at it. It loved to have her shake its beak and scream, so what it would do is come up and try to bite her toes. So she thought she was being smart by grabbing its beak and screaming. So she taught the bird to come up and try to grab her toes so that she could shake its beak. Wonderful. I guess it's mutual training. She was being taught and the bird was being taught at the same time. Although I think the bird had the upper hand, or upper foot in this case. What do you think, Peach? 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 Peach, can you say, I know, I know, I know. You want to sing, Peach? You can sing. You want to sing? You can sing. Want to sing? Almost. You're almost to singing. Stay out of the trash. Mander, I don't have a huge arsenal over here. Well, I've got a little bit. Alright, here, you want this one? There you go. I'm not sure I have an hour's worth of toys to throw at you. I have to remember to look. I have a screen over here where there's a chat room where Brad is telling me what's going on. And I'm trying to look to see if there's any questions. Yeah, Linda asked if it's still mating season. You know, mating season, a lot of people have different ideas about climate change, but I'll tell you this, the climate here has changed enough where it's gone from having mating season from November until April. Now we're looking at from October until May or early June. So you need to leave that alone, Mander. I think about half this video is going to be, Mander, get out of there. Mander. There you go. You big silly. Why don't you come over here? Come up here. Well, come on. Not gonna mess with the tripod. Come on, Mander. Throw something at you. I'll throw this at you. Can I repeat the details on the, I suppose. Let me see. Someone's trying to call in on the conference call and is having difficulties, so I'm going to see if I can get that information off of here. Okay. Mander, get away from there. She's reacting to her sister. Mander, get out of there. Come on. You pick up something like this and you go like that towards it, and he hops. He's like, hop, 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 hop. He hops away from where he is, this silly bird. Okay, Linda, I sent you the conference information. How old is Peaches? We don't know how old Peaches is, do we? We think she's in her 20s, but we don't know for sure. The problem with these guys is that they don't look any older, actually, at 40 than they do at 20 and 60. They pretty much don't show any signs of aging. They live 80 years or longer, so they had one Soram cockatoo like her at the San Diego Zoo that lived to be 102. So, oops. Now, Mander, don't do that. I don't want to spend the whole time talking to you about this. Get away from there. I'm going to pick you up and put you in my lap. I am. Well, thanks for stopping by, Jody. It was good to hear your voice. I'm glad everything's working out for you. What are you doing? What are you doing just sitting there? What are you doing? Well, you can fly again. You got your feathers back there. Mander, I'm going to get you on my lap. Now, there was a button I hit on this so I could see. This is easy, that's this. What are you doing? Sugar, what are you doing all the way up there? Yeah, if there's a number of ways we could improve the video, but I can't find a decent webcam. If anybody out there knows, hey, get away from there. All right, hold on, Peach. I'm gonna go get him because he's not gonna listen to me. Come here. Come on, Mander. Come here. Come on. Well, come here. Well, come here. Come here. I'll get you. Come on. You might as well come up because I'm gonna get you. Come on. Come on. Come on. Mander, come here. Salamander bird. No, it's not a movie. It's a chat on the screen. That's not something you want to watch. Hey, you. Yeah, Jenny. Yeah, Peaches and Sugar have recently started striking up a relationship. Sugar is starting to actually offer things to Peaches. See if I can do this. You need to get over here so I can do this. Scoot. I'm going to get him if I can move fast enough. I'm really surprised too because there's a rivalry there. Come on. Come on. Over here. Oh, you big pest. He's playing the I want to play on the floor routine and he's not letting me pick him up. Come here. You know I have other things that I have to do, so you've got me wired, don't you, kid? That's not how you say it. You say, I know. I know. I know. Private joke. Sal, I'm not going to play this game all day. Once you get close enough, I'm going to run and try to get ahead of you. I'm going to beat you. I am. Not that way. I'm going to beat you to the punch. You never beat the birds. If you sit on me, I can't do that. Come here, Mander. Come on. Come on, boy. Come on. Come on. Oh, come here. Come on, you big bird. Come here. Come here. They're not going to hurt you. You're a big bird. Why would they hurt you? Why would they hurt you, you big bird? No, 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 no. You're not going to eat the phone. Thank you. All right. What? What, Mander? What? What are you doing? You're barreling into me over there, kid? Hey, Coco. Hi, Sal. You know, you need your head creamed, but I'll just... No, you're not going to eat the phone. Boy, you're a pest. You're... He cries. Thank you. Yeah. You're not going to eat the phone. You're not. It's not what it's there for. Not for eating. Don't you bite her tail. No! He has a thing. He does not like tails. Either human tails or bird tails. You can sit up here. Go on. You stop trying to get her tail. Don't take the AirPods out, please. Hey, Luce. Hey, Coco. You playing? Okay. They're used to a room that actually has less light. I have a couple other lights in here which are controllable by my phone, so one of the nice things about that is that if they start to get into multiple altercations, if there starts to be a lot going on that's hard to control, I just put it on flicker red. So it just does like a strobe light in red and they just stop. What in the world is that all about? And it helps to break things up. But it also makes for a nice atmosphere with low light so they can watch their movies. And he's the movie king, aren't you? He got to see one of his favorites yesterday. He watched Jaws. Smart bird. He likes the section where Robert Shaw is describing the USS Indianapolis and 1,100 men going into the water and 316 coming out 6 days later. It's the scariest part of the movie, in my opinion, and he seems to like that too, don't you? He always watches Robert Shaw tell that. Maybe. Now this is the bird that Simone used to chase around, and he would run a race literally screaming like a little girl. And we're talking a bird that weighs 425 roughly grams, and he weighs 1,100 grams. And this little bird is chasing him around, which is why these birds have they don't have any dominance, okay? They have territorial lines, and that's what they defend, but there's no dominance. A small bird can chase away a large bird from its territory. The problem with Simone is that she thought the whole house was her territory. Oh, Simone's a wonderful bird, but I fought and fought and fought to try to make it so she wouldn't go after the other birds and defend every little spot in the house, and I didn't succeed. I probably could have, but she ended up in a place that she loves to be, so. Yes, Coco, pat me, pat me. I know what that means. Pat me, pat me. I know. Pet the head, pet the head. What are you looking at? Back out. What are you doing? No. Yes, I know she turned her tail to you. I understand that you like to bite tails. I know that. But you're still a good bird. I have to make it so you don't bite her tail, but. Can I preen you just a little bit? This is one of the oddest things. He does not like to have his head preened. Now that's just wrong. I mean, that's the only thing they should want preened. Well, Linda, what would Bob do with the earpieces in my ears? Well, when he gets the feathers on the back of his neck up, it means he's not going to leave me alone. He's going to keep trying to get them out of my ears. So I know Bob well enough to know that he was not going to stand for it today. This one here might try to get one of my AirPods. She might. Definitely Lorelei would if she wasn't sitting over there half asleep, bored by this whole situation. Wake up, Lorelei. There's work to do. This is the sleepy time for the birds, but they don't look very sleepy, do they? Linda asked if Salamander is doing his mating dance with my hands. He hasn't done it in the last week, so we're supposed to be out of the mating season. That doesn't mean that they stop mating, but what are you doing? Yeah, he hasn't tried to go after my hands in about a week. You've been a good boy. Can I do it now? Can't preen your head? Can't preen your head? But your feathers just don't look right. Your head looks just odd if I don't preen it a little bit. That's my toe down there that you're trying to eat. Pippa! Pip, pip, Pippa! Pip, pip. Now don't eat the toe. Pip, pip, Pippa, come on. Pip, pip, Pippa. Mander, you're not doing very much, so I'm going to have to shoot you. Come on. Bang! Oh, there, he's dead. Now do some sit-ups, because you're just being too lazy. Okay, sit-ups. Want to do sit-ups? Okay, 1 sit-up. 2. 3. Can you do 4? No, that's it. Just 3? That's it today? You got a feather in your beak. Because. Thank you, Mander. Good boy. You're a good boy. Hey, sweetie. You're a good bird. You're a good bird. Yeah, don't touch my head. Don't touch my head. Don't touch my head. I know. I know. It's hard to believe 2 hours have almost gone by. Oh, I'm sorry. 1 hour. 1 hour. I can't count. That must mean there's 40 birds in the room, right? Since I can't count? No, not quite. What? What, Mander? So, hi, Karina. One of our board members just stepped into the chat room. Hi, sweetie. We have a chat room for the people who are trying to help with the video. One of my AirPods is telling me it's going south. Let's see. Somewhere. I don't know which one is low. So I'm going to put one of them back to charge. What are you guys doing? Mander. Well, you're awfully close to Peaches. You guys are sitting in the same room. They've got night cages right next to each other, and they're starting to get used to each other. Yep. You're getting used to her, aren't you? That's the peach. That's the peach. Peaches, you haven't sung your song. I know. I know. Yeah, Cecil and Peaches are continuing their plans to take over the world. They're in the main bird room. They sit right next to each other in their cages, so they get up right next to each other, and through the bars they talk to each other. And there are times when I try to get them out of the cages, and they're too involved in conversation to actually come out. Aren't you? Aren't you? It's funny to watch them too, because it's just like a couple of old friends kind of leaning against a bar somewhere. You almost want to give them a drink. Of course, they can't have alcohol, but maybe some fruit juice or something. Yeah? No? How about V8? Low sodium V8, something like that? What do you think, Peach? You guys. You're not a guy? You're a peach? No. Now, for anyone who happens to be watching who is not aware of this, she has 6 fused vertebrae in her neck, Peaches does, so you will see me petting her down the back, and that's because I have to preen every feather down below, so She's used to me preening everything. She can't reach those feathers herself. She had 2 abscesses, two feather follicles that abscessed, and that was a nightmare. About $1,000 nightmare, wasn't it, girl? But we caught it in time, so she didn't go into toxic shock or anything. Another thing too, and this will happen if you have a bird, you have a cockatoo. Okay, they have a European gland. See, when I'm doing the videos that aren't live, I would cut that out where my tongue doesn't work. But they have a European gland which produces an oil. If you're around something like an Amazon, you can smell that oil because they'll take a whole bunch of oil and coat themselves with it. Cockatoos there's no scent to that oil, and on top of that, they hardly ever use it. So you got to watch that gland. It's right at the tail end. It's just above the end of their tail. And you'll see little wicking feathers coming out of it, which help the oil come out. You need to check that at least monthly to make sure that they're actually emptying it. Otherwise, it can swell to a size that's not good. And then it can get rancid inside, so all you have to do is massage that little spot for about 2 minutes, and it'll come out. You know, if you're doing it on a daily basis, I just massage it for about 30 seconds, actually, every day on her. And then I check it on all the other tubes, because they're not really into using that oil. Would you let go of my foot, please? Oh, you don't like the fact that I took my feet away from you, Pippa? I can put a foot back up. Okay, thank you. Hi, Karina. Jenny's asking... Oh, I gotta find it. Bear with me a second. It's telling me that on Chatsy I seem to be away. It's going to log me out. I can't reach that from here. I got 3. I don't think there's any way I can stand up to go over to the computer to let it know that I'm still in this. I'm going to lose the chat room. Okay, that's not going to happen. I'm going to have to log in on here. Bear with me, guys. It's going to log me off. I know it is. Oh, there goes my ear.
It's 2 o'clock.
This is a real pain here. Well, I'm gonna... Oh, it's there. It's a different room. I didn't realize it. After 14 days, there's a chat client we use called Chatsy. After 14 days, they kill it, your room, if you don't use it. So I managed to get up. Come on, Kaz. Come here, Kaz. Come on. Come on, Kaz. Oops. Sorry, Coco. Come on, Kaz. Come on, baby. Come on. Whoa. Wasn't expecting that. It's all right, Peach. She's just flying. They can fly. I know you can't, sweetheart, but they can. Oh, Karina, it's my bad. I must not have you on the email notification list. Sometimes I just forget things because I have a little more to do with these guys. I can send that to you, I think. know. I got the chassis on this phone now because I was trying to send it to you. Let's see. Come here. Where are you? I want to copy that. No, I don't want to go there. Okay, that's an issue with Apple Messages. I'm trying to make a copy of this and it won't let me. As soon as I try to copy it, there we go. Now I figure it out. Yeah, browbeat me on that one, Karina, because I really need to make sure that everybody's on the list. And I can't believe I forgot to put you on there, but we have so many different services that we use. It's just crazy trying to make sure you have everybody on there that should be on there. What are you doing? I know you guys can't see that. Well, I'm not sure. You might be able to see some wings down there. Pippa has decided to start climbing the perch, and she's got her wings out. What you doing, Pip? Gave up on that? How many can Bob do? Was that Bob? Coco prefers not to talk anymore, but she, the best way to remember what she can say is, "Hi, Coco Cockatoo, I love you." Those are her basic vocabulary. She has learned, though, that she only has to make her little I want sound. No! No! Pippa! Pippa! No! Pippa! No! Horse manure. Pippa, no! Sit right here, would you? You don't do the no thing very well, do you? Well, you can't sit there. No. You can't sit on or near the computer. That's not permitted. So, yeah, it's a good girl. Oh, Peaches, it's okay. My cause. You doing, Coco? I lose. Don't do it again, Pippa. Don't do it again. That's my foot. Don't eat it. That's a good girl. That little sound from Coco that's her way of saying you aren't petting me. She will only give me that sound once, and if I don't start petting her immediately, she'll get off my lap. Right, Coco? Oh, Bob's phrases, he says, hello, I love you, which he learned from Roman. He says goodbye when people are leaving. He says hi in a deep voice and hi in a little girl's voice. He does the same thing with hello. He says, what are you doing? If you look like you're lost, he'll say, what are you doing? He says, babaloo. He usually throws his name into everything. This is common. They found the same thing down in Brazil when they were studying birds and the way the mother teaches the baby its name and how the baby learns the name the. It's okay. Go. You can do that if you want. Learns the name of the parents and then the siblings and the birds on the flock. So they tend to throw their own name in too when they're talking there. So it seems to be a thing with these guys. Yeah, Bob used to actually, he used to say, make it stop, and the way he said it was, make it stop, make it stop. It was horrible. It was like listening to The Exorcist. But he doesn't say that anymore. I assume he learned that from a human who couldn't stand his screaming. Let's see. Karina says, I had a friend contact me just this morning about a cockatoo she found outside. I gave some advice, but do you have any for that situation? Question, is the cockatoo now in her possession, or is it still outside? Knowing whether the bird is, she has it. Is that what you said, Regina? Oh, she has it. Okay. Well, the main thing is, I mean, Brad put on there. You want to contact Parrot Alert and let people know that you have the bird. They're pretty good about helping you find the owners, if that's possible. Sometimes people release these birds because if they don't want them and they can't find anyone who will take them. I know I have to turn people away all the time. Does she have a cage for it? That's a big question. If she has a cage that she can. Okay. So Karina did recommend Parrot Alert. And 911, well, there's two ones, Parrot Alert and 911 Parrot Alert. That's just to see if you can find the people who are the caretakers of the bird. If you don't have a cage, well, they tend to chew electrical cords and things like that. And anything that's wood, it's kind of in their way of looking at things. So, let's see. Okay, she has a cage. What is she experienced at all with cockatoos? Probably. Huh? Well, if you have any other birds in the house, you want to keep this bird in a separate area because you need to quarantine if things like PDD are communicable, and citizen beacon feather, psittacosis, that kind of thing. So you need to keep any birds you have separated from that bird. You also need to consider that feather dust can carry the disease, so you have to take care of that bird and then shed your clothing and put on new clothes, or put some kind of gown over yourself like they do in a hospital and take it off, just to protect your bird. If you're going to be keeping the bird for a while, you need to get some basic food, some pellets. And you don't know what it eats, and these guys, they're so picky. There's lots of guides on the kind of food that you can get on the web. You don't want to give them too much in the way of seed. For a few days it wouldn't be terrible, but also there's out at behaviorworks.com, in the written works section, this is Dr. Friedman's site, there is an article that's called Parrots in Temporary Shelters. It's a PDF. Just download it. It'll tell you what to do. because basically it's how you handle birds in a temporary situation. Well, Karina, I had some help. Regina helped me with that. Just an aside to the people helping me in the chat room. I know that in that situation, the first thing I would think of is quarantine, but it wasn't the first thing I thought of today. Yeah, that article by Dr. Friedman on birds in temporary shelters, it's included in the Parrot Sanctuary manual that's available online. You can order it online. It's $25. Excellent book, even if you're not rescuing birds. It has a concise guide for how to take care of birds. Excellent. I'm probably going to mutilate this name, but Denaya or Denea is asking, what does it mean when a bird, scrubs the air with its foot? It can mean a number of different things. For example, they will put up their foot if they're trying to keep another bird away. Peaches will put up her foot if she wants your attention or she wants to step up. It's an individual thing with each bird. It can be pushing something away, or it can be asking someone to come. The funniest thing I've ever seen, though, is Peaches. What she'll do is she'll put her foot up, and you'll go over to shake her foot, and then she'll go like this. She does it intentionally. She was like, oh, I really didn't want that finger. You're so cute. You do that to me all the time. Yeah, Regina says too on the bird that was found, fresh veggies. Keep the bird warm in case the bird is compromised. If they're feeling stressed, you want to keep them warm so they don't have to use their energy to stay warm. And 85 degrees is just fine for these guys. So much more than that, you're probably pushing it. But if you can get them into a spot that's as warm as you can make it, up to 85 degrees, that'll help the bird deal with the stress. As Regina said, that one of the reasons that the quarantine is so important with a cockatiel is because they do carry diseases like PDD and psittacosis and beak and feather disease, and they will not show any signs of it. So you have a bird that's a carrier that looks normal, but here it's bringing disease into your home, so you got to be careful with that. That's the thing too, like lovebirds. People don't think about this, but a lovebird can carry beak and feather disease. So people don't think of anything of adding a small bird like that to their flock, but you could actually kill your entire flock by bringing in a bird like that hasn't been tested. So, speaking of testing, where are you? You can't see her down there, but Pippa. She had to go through some pretty intense testing, and she came back with 1 titer of chlamydia. What that means is that her body was exposed to it. So, because she was exposed to chlamydia, we had to run her through a second test, wait 3 weeks, and do another test, and as long as the level of exposure in the system remains the same, she doesn't have the disease. So, it took a long time to get her here. She came, it was a 5-hour drive for the person who brought her here. Right, Pippa? And she had lead poisoning, so they have to, when I say lead poisoning, I'm not talking about where people say, oh, my bird was chewing the cage. That rarely ever has an effect, and I've talked to several vets about that. including Dr. Young and Dr. Jenkins. That's hardly ever an issue. It's when they swallow a whole piece of lead, in her case a fishing weight, that's where you're going to have a problem, where they actually ingest it. And she has a little brain damage. It's pretty obvious. But she's so cute. Aren't you cute? Hippa. She reacts more to the whistling than she does to calling her name. If you call her name, she'll kind of look at you, but if you whistle, then she really pays attention. Don't you? Don't you? Oh, you're such a good girl. Well, you're a good boy. You're just sitting there. What are you doing? What's she doing? I think we'll go for about another 10 minutes, and then I have another crew of birds I have to bring in too, so. But that's going to be off camera, right? Because I still have some cleaning to do. I actually had an appointment this morning, so I had to go to an appointment. I'll get them out of their cages, get them their food, get them their medicine, go to an appointment, get back in time to do this video. Right, Coco? Well, what do you think? Oh, I know what that means. You want to come by. You can come up if you want. Oh, you don't? Well, come on. Oh, come on. No? You don't want to bother. You don't want to bother Peaches? Yeah, this video will also be available offline. It'll be saved on YouTube. So, you want to come back and see Peaches sitting on my chest. She does this a lot. She normally doesn't do this on our videos. When there's a whole bunch of cameras out and stuff, she won't want to do this. She'll want to sit over there. But with one camera out, she's better about it, aren't you, baby? Peach. Peaches. Peaches. I'm sorry, man. Did I disturb you while you were scratching your head? Didn't mean to disturb the animator. What's up? What's up? Come on up here. Come on, Pippa. Come on, Pippa. Come on, Pippa. Come on, Pippa. Come on, Pip. Come on, Pippa. Coco, don't try to bother her. Come on, Pip. Come on. Come on, Pippa. Oh, Pippa. Ca says I'll come down. Lorelei, what are you doing up there? You're awake now. What are you doing? You ignoring me? Sabetla says, what's the meaning of beak clacking, opening and closing quickly with the tongue moving? Now, I've seen two basic meanings. One is a mating behavior, and they'll do that when they're encouraging you to give them attention. And the other one is in territorial mode. They'll also do that if they, yes, Coco. If they're trying to tell another bird to stay out of their territory. It's probably a subtle distinction in the way they do it. I think I've even seen that distinction, but I don't know how to describe it. I think there's less tongue moving when they're doing that, trying to tell someone to stay out of their territory. But I see that a lot. One of our donors, when I go to visit there with a bird, no, now I said you weren't doing that anymore, and then you go and do it. That's all right. I'm not mad at you or anything, you silly bird. Trying to sit on my hand? Mm-hmm. He says I didn't try. I actually managed to sit on your hand when you weren't paying attention. So, Coco is good about that. She will do that beak clacking with the tongue vibrating when she's talking to our friend, the donor that we go to see, and she'll do it when she first sees her and when she's leaving. She doesn't generally do it the rest of the time, just leaving and showing up. So. It's funny too, I haven't read anything in the literature about beak clacking. I know that cockatoos have not been studied as much as other types of parrots in the wild. We haven't done a lot of research on that anyway. The parrots of Loquillo, which is actually about the Puerto Rican parrot, it's probably the best ethology we have, study of them in nature. I don't know of any other ethology that was done where they were actually trying to figure out breeding patterns and behaviors for any length of time. I wish I could find more of that information. If anybody knows, please pass that on. What you doing down there? You silly bird? Are you being silly? There's one thing you're not. Salamander is silly. Very direct. You're a direct bird. You're a direct bird. I love you. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. You're a good girl, Pippa. What are you doing down there? Well, come on, Pip. Come on, Pip. Pip, Pip. No, you're not going to sit on my hand. Pip, 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 Pip. You're going to walk away if I don't let you sit on my hand. Is that some kind of subtle control? Hi, Pippa. Hi, Pip. You're not sitting on my hand. Cool. We're going to wrap up in a few minutes. If there's any last questions, patrons, you've got a phone number. You can call it in. Or you can put it up on YouTube in the chat room or in the chat area, and I'll answer it. But we're going to go out of here in about 5 minutes. So, because I still have cleaning to do. I got about 2 hours of cleaning to do, then I got to get out another crew of birds. Right, Coco? What, you didn't want her over there? I'm sorry. Oh, someone would have to ask that question. Svetla, how dare you? No, I'm just kidding. Roman is doing great. The thing that happened to Roman, I took him to a donor's house, and he was fine. And then all of a sudden, he just kind of, something scared him, and then he got afraid. Okay, so he has this issue of phobia. He's had it ever since we got him. So then the vet suggested giving him some alprazolam to try to calm him down. So he didn't like the towel I put on him, so then he wouldn't come near my hands. So I started out by putting a little piece of peanut butter on the end of this finger. And it's worked down to where I put a little tiny piece of peanut butter here, some peanut butter right there, and a little peanut butter there. Okay, so put my hand in here to eat those off my hand. Then I pull my hand out. At first I'd have to come in very slowly with the hand and very slowly pull it out so I wouldn't scare him. Now I just put my hand in there, he eats the peanut butter off, and I take my hand out. Just a couple of weeks ago, he started lowering his head, and he has this cry he makes. I don't know if I can do it. It's kind of like that. He makes this little cry. He will not stop crying until I get my hand in there and pet him. And he wants to be petted for about 5 minutes. So I pet him for 5 minutes. Now it's like that Twilight Zone where you pay the $1 for the love potion, and it's $10,000 for the shoe polish. Because I can't walk by his cage without him asking to be petted. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying that when you're working with a bird and you're trying to solve a problem, be aware that you may actually end up with other issues. They may be good or bad, and I don't mind, obviously I don't mind petting him all the time, but instead of crying and running away, now he's actually crying to get petted more. So the next step I'm going to do, he normally gets petted up on a perch. I'm going to get him at the bottom of the cage and pet him. Because if he climbs on my hand, he realizes, like, where am I? He realizes where he is. We're choking here. He realizes where he is, and then he falls. Okay? And no violence. Back off. Back off. No violence. It's okay, little girl. No, you don't need to be pushy. You don't need to be pushy. You know I love you. You know that. Don't be pushy. So he's doing great. And I probably won't get him in this room. I'm not going to push him so far that he ends up going back where he is. But I will get him out and have him sitting on perches, close to his cage, or in the kitchen, which isn't that far from his cage, places he feels comfortable. His paranoia level is so easy to spark. But I think the best bet is not to overdo it. So I don't know if he'll ever be on video again, but I'll probably make separate videos showing his progress. Yeah, I'm surprised I can't hear him out there doing it now. He'll start just, because he wants to get petted. Now, when he freaked out, I couldn't even get close to the cage. He'd go to the back of the cage and sit all the way at the top and shake, okay? Now if I get anywhere close to the cage, he comes over and he's trying to get to me because he wants to get petted. So it takes time sometimes, and you don't want it with the paranoia. You don't want to work too fast because you can lose a lot of ground if you push it too fast. But now I've got him where he wants to come out on my hand so bad, he keeps trying. And once he realizes that he's on my hand, then he freaks out. So I think if I can get him to walk on the bottom of the cage and get onto my hand, I can get him just a few inches away from his cage and put him back, and then just start making the distance more and more, a little at a time. How do they say that in the Rocky, one of the lines on, when you're at the Rocky Horror Picture Show? Millimeter by millimeter. Svetla asked if he's still friendly with the lady volunteer. Well, that volunteer, as most volunteers here in this area, because we have such a small area, like 44,000 people live here, okay? She's gone. She vanished into the thin air, so no, he doesn't have anything to do with that volunteer because she's not coming by anymore. So we're used to it. They come by for a few weeks or a few months and then they leave. That's what they do, isn't it, Peach?
It's 2:30.
Well, my computer is telling me it's time, and we've been doing this for an hour and a half now, so thank you all for coming. If you're not a patron, please go to patreon.com, that's Patreon, /Chloe Sanctuary and sign up. $1 an episode's fine. Give us $1 an episode, that's $2 a month. It'll help a lot. And then tell your, yes, Coco. Yes, Coco. And then tell your friends about it. Right? Right, guys? Right, guys? Yeah? Yeah? Guys? Guys? Thanks for all your help, Regina, Brad, Marina. Thanks for coming in and asking questions, Jody. And thank all of you patrons for supporting us. Your patrons keep us going. We couldn't do these videos without our patrons. You guys want to say goodbye? Say goodbye. Sit right there, Peach. Oh, you're going to get. I can't turn the camera off.